my name is Susanna Bennison and this is my video log reflection on Simon's first lesson, which as of now it is Monday. So I've had a bit of time to think about things. In Simon's lesson we're now going on to digital journalism, which has good bits and bad bits about it. We were looking at sort of breaking stuff down, looking at layout and composition, hierarchy, balance, rhythm and flow, all the colours, and then we were told to take some articles, which I have here, and compare and contrast them. And it's quite funny. I actually went onto this second task on Thursday because I'd spent most of Monday just making annotations. And it's funny because I received my results of the previous semester in which I got a distinction. Yes. And then that very afternoon I was trying to do this second task where we were meant to take these articles and compare and contrast them. And oh boy, I could not do it. I mean, I could do very, very basic stuff like this one's masthead is off center somewhat. This one is not. This one has a blank color in the background. This one has a gradient. This one also has a photo in the background, and so does this one right here. And this is a newspaper. This is a magazine. But aside from that, I don't know. And the poor Penny, she's sat with me for the best part of half an hour. I just had nothing to say about any of these except they're different. That's all I could really say. And the funny thing is, I think if I'd been asked to create something in the style of one of these magazines or newspapers or something like that, I'm pretty sure I could do that, and I could make it efficiently and quickly and stuff like that. It's like I can only break stuff like this down when I'm building it from the ground up. And yeah, that way, because I'm sort of starting at the bottom, I can build on everything and break it down that way. But when I'm starting from the top, like when I've got the finished article, I can't work my way down and break it down. It's like once we've got the finished article, I've just got nothing to say about it. So, I mean, that's really frustrating, and it was pretty demoralising too, especially, you know, considering I was full of beans having got my distinction, and then I was just suddenly faced with this. It's my dyspraxia playing up again, I think. There's a gap in my head somewhere in having to do all of this. So I've managed to do some annotations. I've got some very, very basic stuff in comparing and contrasting them. One thing I did notice was this particular article right here. I don't know if you can see that. This masthead takes colours from the picture of the duck's feathers. And I noticed that because my mum does something called Creative Memories, which is creative scrapbooking, and she's always looking for ways to frame her photographs that pick up colours from the photograph itself. So say she's got someone in a pretty dress on a green background, she will try and find a colour that matches the dress and stuff like that. So I noticed that. Another thing that when I was looking at all of this stuff, and we were being taught about it, something that immediately popped into my head, and I don't know if it's relevant, is a book that I read a few years back called Illuminae. And here it is. Illuminae is interesting because it is a novel, but it's a novel full of graphics, which I can show you. It's meant to be sort of like a found footage novel, and it's got sort of things structured like emails, and there's a poster in here somewhere. There it is. There's a poster which sort of adds context to what's being said. But what's interesting is one of the things we were told to ask is what's the most important thing on the page? Is it a natural flow from one bit to another? Is the font easy to read? And in most of this, yes, it is, but there's a bit right towards the end where I think it's a space battle going on, and the text, I don't know if you can see that, it follows the lines of the missiles that they're setting, and actually that's really hard to read. It's very, very difficult to read. So I just thought that was interesting. I might take this in next week and show it to everybody, because it's really interesting, and just looking at how it's all set out, it was. But yeah, so I mean, I've got a lot of stuff to think about. This stuff with the articles is so frustrating, and I'm sorry, it's not my fault. It's because I'm dyspraxic, and this is just showing up. And it's not unique to this. When I was taking A-levels for music and for English, I couldn't break down a musical piece or an English piece unless I was building it myself, in which you kind of have to. So you're just going to have to be patient with me on this, guys. It's not my fault. I'm not doing it deliberately. It's just, yeah, something isn't right in here. So you're just going to have to bear with me on this. It's not something I understand, at least not yet. So yeah, fingers crossed I'll get the hang of it eventually. But until then, please bear with me. Thank you.